Braekhus just had a fight, and Cris was at that fight, and there was a lot of talk that they might have a fight together. What do you feel about that? And I mean, in a way, you seem like a more obvious choice for a crossover fight. What's your take?
Well, I think that boxing and MMA are really different, and I didn't know how much until I experienced both. But I think one of the biggest things that I had to really there's habits I had to break going from boxing to MMA. I couldn't sit in there and just inside box with people. It's like I'd get comfortable wanting to, and then I'd be in their clinch, and I'm like, well, that didn't work. It's different to be able to still be able to punch in like a phone booth type distance and just kind of keep going in there, and that inside fighting is very different than in MMA. So going to boxing from MMA, I think, is one of the biggest things. Is you can't rely on the clinch and kind of just overpowering someone like that. You have to kind of still have that sweet science even when you're in close, and be calculated with it. So there's definitely a lot of different elements to that. So crossing over to take a fight with Cecilia, who's very seasoned in boxing, would be that's going to be a tough fight for Cyborg. But on the other hand, I think that it is maybe a little simpler. I don't want to say anything's easy to go from MMA to boxing than it is from boxing to MMA. Here's my reasons. Going from MMA to boxing, in MMA you still have to learn boxing because it's part of mixed martial arts. In boxing, you just learn boxing. So when you go to mixed martial arts, it's like you don't have any knowledge of wrestling or grappling or clinch game or anything like that. So you're going into a whole new world. So if Cecilia came into like an MMA with Cyborg, I definitely think Cyborg just takes her out, and then Cyborg going into boxing, I think that that's going to be very hard for Cyborg. However, there still is a knowledge of boxing, so if that makes any sense. But I don't know how much I really came to MMA because I've been passionate about MMA. I did boxing for so long, but there's always opportunities that arise, and if they fight, that's just another fight I'll definitely be watching.
I'm curious, as an athlete who successfully transferred or transitioned from boxing to MMA, how long was it in your MMA training that you actually felt comfortable? That you thought, I can do this sport? Because like Floyd Mayweather was talking about maybe trying to come over, and everyone's debating, all right, well, how long would it take him? But you've done it. How long did it take?
I did. I do think that it takes a while, but I think that'd be hard to really tell exactly when I felt that comfortable. I definitely feel more comfortable now with my ground game in wrestling than I ever have, but I still feel like I'm learning. I mean, to this day, boxing or MMA, I'm still trying to get better at my jab, and that's the first punch you learn. So I feel like there is this sense of always wanting to get better, and in order to feel like you need to get better, you have to know that you're not great. They're always searching for greatness. So I do think that it takes some time, because everything with MMA is like you have to learn one step before you can even get to the second step to even be able to chain things together. And I guess it just depends on how everybody's different, how natural they might take it. I do feel like my MMA career was kind of on an accelerated path, but I think the reason why I was able to do it is because my entire boxing career was out of the same gym, and I was surrounded by the mixed martial arts the whole time, so that when I was learning it, it was maybe somewhat more familiar. But I don't really know the timeline. Some people are just natural and they just pick it up and they retain it. So I think, definitely put some time in though, because I think the biggest thing that all my coaches were telling me when I first started, and it was very true, is, Holly, you can keep coming in and do private lessons or drilling this or that, but it's mat time. You just got to get on there and get the real feel, because it becomes second nature. Just in boxing, when you learn to pick your first punch, it after a while, you just do it. But at first, you're flinching and you don't even like to you're closing your eyes when punches are coming at your face and things like that. But you have to do it and actually have those punches coming at you over and over and over to even learn how to block, just pick a punch. So just, I guess if somebody puts a lot of time into it and has a little bit of natural experience, I think they can just kind of go with it if they want to.